Good evening. I would like to call to order the April 10th, 2017 Bellbrook City Council meeting to order. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Mr. Edwards?
Here.
Mr. Greenwood?
Here.
Mr. McGill?
Here.
Mrs. Middlestetter?
Here.
Mrs. Seeger-Lawson?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Schweller?
Here.
Mayor Baird?
Here. Formal approval of the City Council regular meeting minutes of March 27, 2017. Does any member on council have any corrections or additions to the regular City Council meeting minutes of our last meeting?
Good.
Seeing none, the minutes are approved as written. Mayor's announcements and special guests. We have a couple this evening. One is on the agenda, and we'll start with Mrs. Tidd, Greene County Department of Development and Fair Housing. And I believe this is something to do probably with our CDBG grants. Or grant, plural, or singular.
Good evening. My name is Christy Tidd. I am with Department of Development. We're located in Xenia. We are currently involved with your community as you guys applied last fiscal year for the Community Development Block Grant, also known as CDBG. We will be doing a sidewalk project here in downtown. Hopefully that will start here soon. This is part of your obligation of accepting that money is we have to come here and inform you about fair housing. So ultimately that's where the money comes from. It comes from HUD, and so that's just something that's kind of added on to it. So, in our office, we do provide fair housing assistance to anybody in our community in Greene County minus City of Xenia and City of Fairborn. So as representatives of your community, if individuals come to you, we're just here to make sure that you make the appropriate referral to our office. We do offer assistance. We can file the complaints for them if there is truly a complaint. Typically, it's landlord-tenant issues that will arise. So we cannot provide them with legal advice, but what we can do is get them in contact with Legal Aid of Ohio, and we make that direct referral for them so they're not having to go through the loop of calling this person and just getting shuffled through. So a lot of times it's just basically us acting as a mediator between the tenant and the landlord, and typically it can be resolved. So that's basically it. Just make sure that you refer them to our agency if you have anybody that is in need that comes to you as a representative of your community. I am going to leave you guys today a bunch of brochures so that you can put out in your community areas. I know you guys have a lot down in the hallways and stuff like that, so I'm going to leave those with you. And then also I have some handouts. You guys, I'm sure, are reading the newspapers and tend to see things. If you do happen to see an ad for an apartment, a house for rent, there are keywords that we should be looking for. If you feel that anything it seems a little off, please email it to me and I can review it and contact the landlord if needed. We just need to make sure that your guys' community knows that this is out there and this is what should be going on. By accepting this grant, it does open your community to potentially being audited to make sure that you guys are aware of these fair housing laws. So I'm going to pass you out a bunch of information, and just feel free, if you ever have any questions, to please give us a call.
Thank you. Anyone on council have any questions for Mrs. Tidd?
What you just spoke of, is there anything outstanding? It happens a lot. Is there?
A lot of landlords of the issues of bed bugs and mold. Whose responsibility is it? That's what we typically see most frequently.
And that's a landlord, right?
Repairs being done to the home also. So typically, tenants do not go through the proper chains. Yes, they might tell their landlord that, hey, I have this leak. But if they didn't provide it in writing, that's the biggest thing. The landlord or the tenant must provide it in writing to the landlord that there's the issue. Then they have ample amount of time, typically 30 days, unless it's like middle of winter, the furnace goes out. Then it's expected that would be remedied quicker than that. So But just making sure that the tenant knows the proper process is the biggest thing typically.
If it goes to more time than that, is it true that they can put their rent in escrow? with the
Correct.
Courthouse?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's where typically people will come and say, I want to put my rent in escrow. Well, they didn't follow those procedures. They
Okay.
have to have that notice that they put it in writing. So make sure you tell everybody, put it in writing if you need a repair, so.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
you're welcome.
Anyone?
I'm gonna leave a bunch of information
Okay.
back here, and if you guys have any questions, please contact me.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. I will also need a copy of the minutes from tonight.
Don mentioned that.
Okay.
We'll make sure we get those to you.
Okay, fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. One other guest this evening who I think would like to come up and probably give some community updates, Mrs. Chris Ewing with the Bellbrook Sugar Creek Chamber of Commerce.
Chris Ewing, 4155 Ridgetop Drive. I am the Executive Director of the Bellbrook Sugar Creek Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here to remind everybody what's coming up. It's a busy time of year for this community. So the Sugar Maple Festival is next weekend, as everybody probably knows, the 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. 21st is the dog show at 6:30 behind Sugar Creek Elementary. Also, the food vendors will be open on Friday night. The park events will not be open on Friday, but the food vendors will be open on Friday. Then Saturday, it's 10 to 7, Sunday 11 to 5. The parade is Saturday at 10:30. The theme this year is superheroes, so it should be a really colorful, fun weekend. We're hoping for good weather. Also, if you need any additional information or want to see when all the events, because the beer garden is 5 to 10 o'clock on Friday and Saturday. And then if you want to see who's playing for all the entertainment, if you go to sugarmaplefestival.com, that has all the list of events, has the vendors, has everything on there. So that's a good place to go to figure that out. The Chamber of Commerce will have their tent in Bellbrook Park, and we are over the creek. And we will be there on Saturday and Sunday, and that's when you can come and get the directories, the maps, Greene County information, any local information. We have brochures, we'll have businesses there handing out things. We will also have sign-ups for raffle prizes, and we will also have registration for the community garage sale, which is that next month, will also be at our tent. So if people can't do the registration online, they can go to our website, to our tent, and sign up there at the Sugar Maple Festival. Speaking of which, the Chamber of Commerce Community Garage Sales is May 18th, 19th, and 20th. And I'm supposed to remind you guys, you have to waive the sign ordinance sometime tonight. You can register on our website, which is bellbrooksugarcreekchamber.com, and just click on the garage sale tab that's there. And also, you need to put your name, address, phone number, the dates that you want to be open, and there's a little comment section there too. But anyway, then that list is available on our website the Tuesday before the sales, and then you can print that off and they can go all over. We average between 100 and 120 garage sales during that period of time. A lot of people don't even list theirs on the list, they just raise up the garage doors and put signs out. So it's a very, very busy time. Also, it's the same weekend as the Hamvention at the Greene County Fairgrounds, and they're expecting 35,000 people at that event. And we've already been told through Greene County Convention Visitors Bureau, those people are going to filter down here. So there's going to be a lot of additional traffic. You're going to have a lot of people, they're coming here to eat. And if they know we're having community garage sales, they come in. I believe some of them will come in Wednesday, some will come in Thursday. We could see an excess of people. They're not going to stay out there the entire time. Those people are going to travel and go places. So I would expect some additional people, not only for the community garage sale that weekend, but from the Hamvention. We're pretty close to that when you compare it to other areas. So probably going to see some additional people in the community, which is a good thing. They can shop and they can eat here. The legislative breakfast is Friday, May 5th, and that's at 7:15 at the Greene County Career Center. And that's where you can meet with legislators, you can ask questions. It's a breakfast, it's a meet and greet. The public is welcome to come, so I want to invite the public. People don't realize that. The public can come, they can actually ask questions. All you guys are invited. The only thing that they request is if you want to go, please let me know so that I can RSVP, because they do have food. So that event is Friday, May 5th. It's a really well-attended event, and anybody who is anybody is usually at this event. So anybody's welcome, just call me and give me an RSVP if you're interested in going.
And where is that again? I'm sorry.
That's at the Greene County Career Center over in, is that
Fairborn.
Xenia or
Enid.
Yellow Spring?
It's sort of Fairborn.
It's kind of
Enid.
It's,
between, yeah.
it's probably Fairborn Beaver Creek.
Somewhere over.
It's in between
Xenia.
Fairborn and Xenia Beaver Creek. It's right there. It's
I can't even think,
pretty
what's that
close
road?
to where the Cemex
235,
is.
isn't it?
Not too
Okay.
far from Cemex.
I
But
don't
it's,
know.
But it's
the-
close, it's more towards Enid than
and
it
now
is
it's
Beaver
more
Creek.
towards Beaver Creek from there. So you have to head to
It's
the
not too
south.
far from the old Green Country Club.
Yeah, it's pretty
Okay.
close to Green, but you gotta head to the south, out of like Green Country Club.
Yeah, and I can't
You turn
can't
right
think of
that
the
first
highway.
road past Green Country Club and Danielle Springs Road.
Yeah, it's,
And then you go down about 2-3
it's
miles.
away. I mean, there is a sign before you turn down
Yeah.
there, but,
Yeah.
I mean, you could Google it. But
Yep.
anyway, anybody's invited, just let me know if you wanna attend. Also a reminder for those that don't know, we do have a free clinic in our community. It's called Open Arms Free Clinic. It is for the underinsured and the uninsured. It is open Tuesday evenings from 6 to 9 p.m. and it's in the medical building next to Skyline Chili. So they do see people every single Tuesday, and considering not everybody knows about this, it's really amazing that, I mean, if everybody knew, I think we'd have a lot more people, but they actually are doing really, really good work there. And a couple businesses that have either opened or are opening. Crafters Lodge next to El Toro is now open, and she will be having her grand opening the Sugar Maple Weekend, which is probably a really good idea because she'll have extra traffic. So that's up next to El Toro. She's excited about being there. Katie Martin has moved her State Farm office from in the township next to Valero, in the white two-story building across from the chamber office. So that's now a State Farm office there. The bakery is still in transition next to Dots. It is coming. They will be at the Sugar Maple Festival in our tent handing out information so that people will know a little bit more about when they're coming and what they're going to have. So that is in process. Greene County has required them to do quite a few things that they hadn't anticipated. Imagine that. And then the Chinese buffet next to Drug Mart should be opening fairly soon. So that will be the last thing. So anyway, that's all the new stuff. And we're all looking forward to the walkability meeting on Wednesday. So I think a lot of good stuff will come out of that. I've had a lot of people, I mean, it's closed now, but there are a lot of people who really want the information that is gathered from that. So I think it's a good thing. So, any questions?
Thank you very much, Chris.
Thank you.
Do you want to go ahead and waive the sign ordinance tonight?
You guys want to go ahead and waive the sign ordinance so we don't have to worry about it? So we need a motion to waive, Chris, what were those dates?
May 18,
19,
19, and 20.
May I have a motion to remove the Bellbrook sign ordinance for the community garage sale on May 18th, 19th, and 20th?
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
And roll call.
Motion by Mrs. Middlestetter to remove the sign ordinance for May 18th through the 20th. Seconded by Mrs. Seeger Lawson. Mrs. Middlestetter?
Yes.
Mrs. Seeger Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Mr. Greenwood?
Yes,
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mr. Schweller?
If we remove it, do we have to reinstate it then the day
Waive.
after?
Or we
Waive.
just
We're
waive.
waiving,
So
waiving
say
it
remove
for,
Let's make sure it just says waive it, not remove it.
yeah, waive
She
it
might
for 18th, 19th, and 20th only.
Yeah, just
Only.
Waive.
No, so yes.
restricted.
Okay,
We
Mr.
say
Schweller.
waive.
Mayor
And,
Bear.
yes.
Okay.
That is all I have for mayor's announcements and special guests. We have no public hearings. We have no introduction of ordinances. We have two resolutions this evening. Resolution 2017-L. Mr. Greenwood.
thank you, Mayor. City of Bellbrook, excuse me, resolution number 2017-L. A resolution authorizing the city manager to participate in a contract with the Department of Administration Services, Office of State Purchasing for the purchase of a dump truck for the city of Bellbrook. Whereas section 240.03 of the municipal code allows the city to purchase goods and services through cooperative arrangement and other governmental entity. And whereas the Department of Administration Services, Office of State Purchasing has entered into contract with Valley Ford Incorporated, Avon Lake, Ohio, for the purchase of certain equipment in accordance with section 125.04 of the Ohio Revised Code. Now therefore, the City of Bellbrook hereby resolves. Section 1, that the city manager be authorized to participate in a contract with Valley Ford Truck Incorporated for the purchase of the following equipment for the Bellbrook Service Department. 1, 2017 Ford F-550 4x2 regular cab chassis with various options for a gross price of $38,426. Section 2, that the City of Bellbrook directly pays the vendors for said equipment under state contract. Section 3, that this resolution shall take effect and be in force forthwith.
Yes, this is the replacement of a one-ton dump truck the city currently has. This was included in the 2017 budget. The total price of the cab and chassis is the $38,426. In addition to that, there's an additional $31,470 for the dump body, the snow plow, the salt spreader, all the other equipment that goes on to it. That's a separate purchase order that we'll issue for that. But the grand total price for this truck will be $69,896, which is just under the budget of $70,000. This will replace a 2008 truck, which is is newer than we usually replace them. But this is the one, if you recall, we talked about has some steering issues that have not been resolved. So we want to take it out of service. Later on, we'll declare that truck surplus. I talked with Mr. Wilson today. Normally, we would take this to GovDeals and auction it. We would disclose this. Probably in this case, we'll go to a dealer and see if we can trade it in, because I'm not really comfortable selling this to somebody who's going to buy it for their landscape company, never tell their employee that something's wrong with it. If it goes to a dealer, at least whoever buys it has something to fall back on. We won't get as much money out of it, I'm sure, but I think it's another way to deal with it and not have that.
That's only fair.
There's no liability installed, but I just don't feel comfortable doing that. Mr. Greenwood mentioned that to me, and I agree that that's important to do. So we'll find another way to dispose of this truck.
Thanks, Mark.
Any questions? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve Resolution 2017-L?
Motion to approve, Mayor.
May I have a second?
Second.
And roll call.
Motion by Mr. McGill to adopt Resolution 2017-L, a resolution authorizing the city manager to participate in a contract with the Department of Administrative Services, Office of State Purchasing for the purchase of a dump truck for the City of Bellbrook, seconded by Mr. Greenwood. Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mr. Greenwood?
Yes.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Mrs. Middlestetter?
Yes.
Mrs. Seeger Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Schweller?
Yes.
Mayor Baird?
Yes. One more resolution this evening, Resolution 2017-M. Mrs. Seeger Lawson.
Resolution number 2017-M, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign an agreement with the Greene County Engineers Office for the collective paving program for 2017. Whereas the city of Bellbrook desires to participate with the Greene County Engineer in the competitive bid contract for the collective paving program for 2017 as bid by the Greene County Engineer, and whereas the Greene County Engineer has included the city of Bellbrook's annual street program in their 2017 collective paving bid, and whereas the bid amount for the city of Bellbrook is $112,594.50 for the following streets: Bluestone Court, Red Rock Court, Sandstone Court, Sugar Leaf Court, Possum Run Road, and Regent Park Drive. Now therefore, the city of Bellbrook hereby resolves, Section 1, that the city manager is hereby authorized to sign the attached agreement with the Greene County Engineers Office. Section 2, that this resolution shall take effect and be enforced forthwith.
Yes, this is the annual street program. This year we are doing the streets mentioned there, but just to give you a visual, we have Possum Run Road, the entire east-west length from Possum Run Court all the way back here to Locust Bend. Locust Bend was done a couple years ago. The other portion of Possum Run here has been done in two different phases here recently. So it's really just from this point all the way back to the west. In addition, Sugar Leaf will be done. There's a part of it was done here. There was a section break here, and then these are the three cul-de-sacs that will be included in this program. So the bid prices came in favorable at $112,000. We had $120,000 budgeted. There is some other minor work that we have included, and if there's anything else that looks like it may need to be done, we'll add it if it's within the budget amount. But the base price there is that $112,000 figure.
And the 50 cents.
And the 50 cents.
And 50 cents.
We don't wanna forget that.
Any questions? We do this every year. Seeing none, may I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2017-M?
I move that we adopt resolution number 2017-M.
May I have a second?
A second.
And roll call.
Motion by Mrs. Seeger Lawson to adopt Resolution 2017-M, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign an agreement with the Greene County Engineers Office for the collective paving program for 2017, seconded by Mr. Greenwood. Mrs. Seeger Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Greenwood?
Yes.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mrs. Middlestetter?
Yes.
Mr. Schweller?
Yes.
Mayor Baird?
Yes. That is all the resolutions this evening. Next, we have city manager's report.
Yes, just a couple items. First, Mrs. Ewing mentioned the walkable community workshop, so that's this Wednesday afternoon. We do have over 50 people signed up for that, so we're looking forward to a good turnout. The weather appears to be very nice that day, so it'll be nice to walk in the downtown area. So once we've gone through that, we get the feedback, there'll be ultimately a report put together, and we'll share that with council and put it on the website, things of that nature. But we are looking forward to that this week. The general fund renewal levy, there's a postcard. I think everyone has a copy. These are going in the mail this week, so everyone should be receiving them later this week. We wanted to avoid spring break week so that it wasn't in that stack of mail when everyone got back from spring break. But again, we just encourage people to get out to vote on May 2nd. This is a renewal levy, so there is no increase in the taxes. This is just every 5 years we need to renew this levy. So we encourage people to get out and vote for that. There's an item that I included in your information about the National League of Cities offers some coverage it's called the Service Line Replacement or Warranty Program. There's a little video that I found on their website that sort of covers it here, so I'll just play it. It's just a couple minutes here that sort of explains what the program is, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it.
Most municipalities get stronger with age, but their utility lines don't. In fact, you know the infrastructure in your municipality and in your residents' homes crack, leak, and clog. When it does, your residents will be knee-deep in this, calling you for help. Your whole municipality needs a solution, and that's where the National League of Cities Service Line Warranty Program comes in. Other warranty providers mass mail your residents without your input. We partner with municipalities to offer their homeowners warranty protection for problems created by aging private service lines. It's free to the municipalities, and you can even generate revenue from our partnership while educating homeowners about their service line responsibilities. Homeowners benefit from generous, affordable coverage protection with no service fees or deductibles. And the program only uses local, licensed contractors, keeping dollars in your local economy. We promise to take care of your residents and the residents of the other 200-plus North American municipalities that are a part of our Service Line Warranty Program. Just ask any of these guys how our program has benefited their cities and homeowners. Find out how we can bring our program to your city.
So as the video states, it's basically an insurance program for your water line, your sewer lines, service lines that are the responsibility of the property owners right now. And so if you have an issue with those, it's your cost. The premiums on this range they're about $7 a month for each coverage, whether it's you can do just the water line, you can do the sanitary sewer line, or you can do the in-house plumbing. It was right around the $7 per month. So for $50 a year, you can have one of those covered. Maybe, I guess, $150 a year, you could have one of those covered and have full coverage. And that way, if your water line broke and it was your responsibility, they would come out, there's no deductible, they would get the contractor, they would have it fixed. There's no real obligation for the city other than they send out marketing material that has our logo on it, and it's, I guess I would call it an endorsement of it, or that it's going out to the residents. This isn't, this is not something that's covered by your homeowner's insurance. So if you have this issue, it's truly an out-of-pocket expense. There's no obligation for the residents to buy it, there's nothing like that, but this is a program that we offer, or we can offer. So if council wants me to pursue this, we can. They have a list of communities that offer this. I did talk to one other manager today of a community of our size down in Cincinnati. They've offered for a couple of years. They've had positive, there's no negative really to it. It's just, it's a choice for the property owner to enroll in this, and if they want to pay the premium, then they receive the coverage.
Do we get calls from citizens on water lines that are broken that they think it's the city's responsibility and it isn't? I mean, does it happen a lot?
We probably get some, because people don't understand where it begins and ends. There's probably actually more, I would imagine, on the sanitary sewer side of things, where there's, clogs. The tree roots is a big thing that would be covered by this. So I can't say that we get calls every day, but it is something that we do get them occasionally.
I guess that could be a fairly expensive repair if you didn't have the insurance.
Yes.
If we offer this, what's the city's obligation for saying that we're offering this?
Pretty much, we put our name on the letter and say that, we're a sponsor of this program, and beyond that, that's it. They take care of pretty much everything else. They take care of the mailings, the billings. We have no part of, it's not included on the utility bill or anything like that. It's just, we're just putting our name, and it can only be offered to our residents. So it can't even be offered to somebody in Sugar Creek Township that may be on our water system. It's not an option unless Greene County or Sugar Creek Township, which they can't because they're not part of the National League of Cities, were to offer this program.
But if somebody wants the service now and we don't currently offer it, they could just Google it, right, and probably buy it
No,
from some competitor?
this is only, well, you
They're not
could,
this specific one, but from somebody who's going to offer this.
you potentially could, yes, yeah. I don't know how many programs are out there that do this, and, I'm sure there are some insurance programs that you can buy.
I guess my only concern is if we say that we're going to be part of this program and someone buys it, isn't happy with the result, are they going to be mad at the city then because we sponsor the program?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly possible.
I don't mind doing it, but I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of putting our logo on the whole thing, and it just seems like it just raises questions. Who's paying for what? And how much money are we making on this? Are we profiting from it? I don't know. It's kind of splitting hairs at some point in time, but I know everybody's going to perceive it. This is a city program, and we took advantage of it, and look what happened. And it's going good right now, but you never know where it's going to go after the fact, and I don't know.
And that's fine, we don't,
I guess I would just like to have more information. I know my experience with these, because I know we both have had experience with these through the utilities. I don't think this would be any conflict of interest for us, but I know IGS now probably has the same thing.
Probably.
And so this is a very popular thing. Someone's making money. So I don't know if it's National League of Cities or, I don't know what kind
Well,
of revenue you're talking about we would receive.
it would be very nominal revenue to us, that's not why we would
Yeah,
do this.
it would
This
just
is just, the fact that the National League of Cities is sort of the sponsoring agent, they're doing the same thing, they're lending their name to this product, and they're doing it, and it's the list of cities that, I think I have, in Ohio, Akron, Athens, Bucyrus, Dayton, Deer Park, Fairfield, Harrison, Monroe, Olmsted Falls, Pickerington, Rittman, Toronto, Trotwood, Twinsburg. Those are the communities that are doing it, and it's just strictly their option, but obviously there's 575 other communities that aren't doing it in here that have some type of water service. So if council's not comfortable with our name being attached to it, then it's not a program that we should offer, because that's really the key. Obviously, that's the marketing key to them, is that it's something that we're offering. I mean,
It's a link directly to the customer, so. I'd feel more comfortable if we contacted maybe some of the cities that have had it in place for a couple of years and say, hey, what do you think about it?
well, I did contact Deer Park.
Okay.
And they've had it, and they've had no issues with it whatsoever, and they know that they've had residents that have used it, but they're really, the problem is you don't necessarily know who uses it because you're out of it.
Yeah.
They do some letters, they do it over a couple month cycle, and then after that, somebody can, there's probably a link on our website or something like that, but beyond that, they don't, it's not a every month, and it's not a phone solicitation or anything like that. It's just really offering something, and if they take it up, it's their choice, and if not, there's no loss. to us, so.
The one thing I will say on, I guess it would be the positive side of this, is I don't think people understand the cost of their sewer line replacements, and they're going out in my neighborhood pretty regularly, because my houses are all built between, the 60s and like 66, and there were so many silver maples planted that those silver maples are now damaging those. I don't know, if the devil's in the details on the contracts, but that can be very costly. It could be anywhere from on the very, very low end to maybe $4,000, but more likely it's going to be $7,000, $8,000, $9,000. So I'm not knocking it from that side. That specific sewer plan, there's probably a lot of people that wouldn't have the money to do it, and that could help them for that amount of money. But I think I would like just to maybe check it out a little more. I'm not saying yes or no.
What else do you need to know?
I'd like to see, I'll look into it myself a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never heard of it before, kind of curious.
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I've just heard from the electric cycle, we've thought about, people have come to DP&L and said, hey, we want to offer this to all your residents, and we've kind of all just said no, because we weren't sure if that kind of makes us liable then,
yeah.
so.
Yeah. But any other input?
There's been, I get them in the mail sometimes, from companies. I think one of the positive things maybe on this one, it's kind of vetted somewhat, other than some of the stuff you get in the mail. And then my other question would be, does state law regulate any of these insurance companies like this? Do you know, I mean, as far
Yeah,
as-
probably not this, because this probably isn't technically an insurance program.
So
This is just a
kinda
service
like-
where you're just contracting with somebody to provide a service is really what it is. So it's more of a maintenance agreement as opposed to an insurance, I suppose. They're not, so there's probably a distinction in there that they don't have to go through like a Department of Insurance or something like that.
It's a warranty program.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
And they probably specifically use that language just for that
But you
legal
could check
reason.
with-
Can you get an actual contract? What, if I wanted to buy it today, what that contract will look like? I could just read, just to
Mhm.
see,
Mhm.
what's in it.
So this does say, as I go through, the coverage for water and sewer is up to $4,000 coverage per repair incident. And then additional allowance for public street. So if they have to get into the street, then it's another $4,000 in coverage. And then for inside plumbing, it's up to $3,000 coverage. But yeah, I can get a contract copy and forward it to you and let you take a look at it.
I say we come back to it. I don't know what everyone else
Yeah,
thinks.
Yeah. And again, a big part of it's if Mark's comfortable with it too. I like what.
Yeah, obviously his opinion.
You guys are gonna get the calls and you're gonna get the headaches, and I'm not gonna get so much of it, maybe a little bit, but.
Yeah, no, I think it's, I mean, I will get some more, but I think it's a good program because I don't think people realize that that's their responsibility. They think that
I agree.
that you
Yeah.
deal with utilities, that, and Vectren has taken over a lot of those responsibilities, probably
Yes.
for that reason, and gas is a little bit different than water, but it's one of those things that people don't realize until there's an issue,
Right.
and then there's a big bill that comes
The
due.
sewer
So-
really can be a
Yes.
problem, so. Okay,
Okay,
well.
I'll get a copy of the contract and then we'll,
Yeah, and then
we'll
bring it
we'll
back
talk
to
about
next
some more.
meeting.
Next Monday night is the community officials meeting with Sugar Creek Township and the school district and the park district. It's at 5:30 at Sugar Creek Township. They have a meeting at 7 o'clock, so there's at least a time limit on it. It can't go all night. So will everyone be in attendance, or
I'm-
Yes.
not?
I'll bend it past that, and I think I'm gonna be tied up.
You might have a few other things going on.
I'm
I
thinking
realize.
you will.
Yeah.
But everyone else will be, is
Yeah.
planning to be there?
Imagine what
Yes.
I
Yeah,
can't
I'll be
Yeah,
there.
Okay.
I might need to leave early, because
That's fine.
Yeah.
I just wanted to give them a sense of how many people
Yeah.
to expect that night. So that's next Monday night. We'll send out an email reminder to everyone. And then finally, another thing on the website here, if I can get back.
Most
there.
municipalities get stronger.
So the city has implemented new utility billing software, and as part of that, we have a new interface for our customers. So if you go to our website now and you click on Pay Utility Online, it's going to take you to a page that talks about our new online payment. So everyone who was using, if they're using online payments before with Smart Bill, that is going to go away. It's still active now because people are still doing that. But this explains how to do it, and then obviously it goes through how to register, If you click log in, it'll take you to these pages. Really what you need is your new account number. So if you haven't been billed, we've billed 2 of the 3 sections. If you haven't been billed, you don't know your new account number yet. You'll get your bill on May 1st, but otherwise you need that account number, and then you just need your address or customer information, and then you can register. And then from there, you can sign up for electronic bills, you can sign up for auto pay, you can make a payment, you can look at usage. The nice thing about this is it's truly integrated with our software. The other one was once a month we'd send them information. This is real time, so if you go on and make a payment, we can see it in our software that you made a payment. So come shut off day when people say, oh, I went online to make a payment, we trusted them. Now we can see real time if they've made a payment or not. So just for everyone, if they want to sign up for the new accounts, this is where they go, and they can follow the step-by-step instructions for that. And then finally, for Sugar Maple Festival, we did get a banner for council to carry. We'll make sure that somebody has that on that Saturday morning. It's over at the service department now, so we'll make sure that's available, and we'll get it to whoever our year.
Trying to recruit some carriers, so
Okay.
I don't know yet, but I'll get back.
If not,
Yeah.
somebody else will be carrying it, so.
Yeah.
So, that is all I have this evening.
Any questions for our city manager?
Hey, Mark, one question came up from one of our residents. Apparently the engine brake signs have been removed when we put the new signage up here in the city. Now, I've not really looked at it, but he said he's noticed it, and he does live on the city township line, so he's right in the midst of it all. Are we-
It's still illegal. We had never cited a person for engine brakes. We'd never had catching somebody for engine brakes is pretty difficult.
Right, right.
So we ended up taking the signs down just because you see those mostly in rural communities where you're coming from, a highway, you're going through a town with one stoplight and that. So we don't have that much truck traffic that uses air brakes and things like that. So that's why we just took them down, because it's still illegal, and if somebody
I didn't think the law had changed. I didn't know if
no,
we could put one
no.
up in once. I'll give it to you after the meeting, mention to you where it is.
Okay.
Say once.
Okay.
Any other questions for our city manager? Seeing none, committee reports, service,
No service report tonight.
safety?
The only thing I have is Safety Committee requested a little training session with Police Chief on the new cameras, and I think we're gonna make it available to everybody on council. And I think at whatever time they feel comfortable that they've kinda got it down pat. And I think maybe he may even take it further, maybe a forum or something to get the community involved and get everybody up to speed on that, because that's, you see it in the news every day. So we want to make sure everybody, the communication process is good and everybody's well aware of what we're doing and how it's going to work. So that's all I have.
Initially, we'll probably just have it for council. That will be, the chief does a number of different things with the community, and that may be something to talk about. But
Right.
initially, and I've talked briefly with him about this, but actually show you obviously what the body cameras look like, but then also some footage. And there's a couple other things that I want him to go over just for council, just to give you maybe a better sense of what a police officer faces. I know Mr. Edwards went on a ride-along. That's still not the same as, literally seeing as you approach a car with the camera running, and what you see when you come up upon that scene, and what the response you get from the person and things like that. So as we get some more of that video footage, and we'll find some that is really a good representation of what they deal with on a daily basis. That was in addition to how the body cameras work, but just, I think it'll give you a better sense of what they're actually dealing with. I don't think you really get that. You can watch as many TV shows and you can, things like that. I don't think you really get a good sense until you can see it firsthand. And, we're not cops on, we're not running into those things, but there are a lot of things that they deal with and a lot of decisions that they have to make based on what they encounter at that time. And I think that will show you a little bit better what that is. So we'll get that set up probably in, maybe in June or something like that. We'll have, give them time to prepare something and have that set up for all of council and go from there.
Right, they need whatever time they need. We're not in a hurry, just at some point we'd like to be, because I know it's a tough deal for them.
Yes.
So.
Finance, audit?
Mayor, nothing really to report tonight, other than we did receive the March 31 financial update from the city manager, and our controllable expenses seem to be tracking pretty well. And one thing that's probably worth noting is that in the area of our capital expenditures, we've gone through a lot, and we typically have a little bit of a front-loaded capital expenditure budget that we would allot in the first quarter versus throughout the whole year. But on the big items, we seem to be tracking very close to budget, which is kind of a good thing and kind of where we want to be. So, so far so good. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Community affairs.
No, the only thing I wanted to mention about the water billing, I was curious whether the auto pay would roll over with it, and it did.
Well, not really.
Oh,
It manually did.
oh,
With
okay.
some human intervention, it did for the first time people got their bills. That they had gone on the old system, they were marked as auto pay.
Okay.
So with some human intervention, we were able to do that. And there'll be an email going out to everyone who, as they go through their cycle that was marked with auto pay, telling them how to sign up for the new system.
So you do have to.
You do have to sign up for the new one.
Okay.
We did take care of it because we knew that people were expecting it, and we couldn't get them to sign up for the new system until they got a bill with the new account number. So we have to do some other things in between to get it there. But
You helped it along a bit.
yeah, a little bit, yes.
Okay.
Any old business? We have a couple items on the new business, accept the resignation of James Day from the Village Review Board. So I guess we need a motion. Mr. Day is resigning from the Old Village Review Board.
Yes.
So we will need another person for the Old Village Review Board. Yay, I just, we
At the
made a
last-
week.
at the last
We made a
meeting-
week.
At the last
We made a
meeting,
week.
no, it wasn't a week, because at the last meeting, we said all the boards were filled, and the next day we got.
Yeah.
It's like 24 hours.
Yeah, it was less than 24 hours. before we got
So I
there.
guess I
Yeah.
need a motion to accept the resignation of James Day from the Village Review Board.
I will move that we accept his resignation. I guess he moved out of Bellbrook.
Yes.
May I have a second?
Second.
And a roll call.
Motion by Mrs. Middlestetter to accept the resignation of James Day from the Village Review Board, seconded by Mr. McGill. Mrs. Middlestetter?
Yes.
Mr. McGill?
Yes.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes.
Mr. Greenwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Seeger Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Schweller?
Yes.
Mayor Baird?
Yes. And then next, Ohio Division of Liquor Control new permit, Floral V Designs. Not sure what this one is.
I wasn't either, so I contacted them late last week. So Floral V Designs is right down here on South Main Street. This is just a carryout permit because they include in some of their floral arrangements and baskets, they include bottles of wine or little mini bottles of liquor and things like that. So they needed a carryout permit to do that. They have a very small amount on their premises at any given time, but they do need a carryout. So that's why this is a new permit for them. So
What do we need to
there's
do?
no action that's needed. This would only unless you wanted to request a hearing on this, council could do that, but otherwise, if they don't take any action.
Can they do retail sale of just the wine or liquor, or does it have to be included in the floral basket? If someone would walk in there and say, I don't want the flowers, I just want the wine.
It's a carryout license, so
So I guess they could.
I would imagine that they could.
Encompassing.
That's not, I don't believe that's their business model, because I don't think they have a lot of,
Where are they at? When's that?
right down at 24 South Main Street,
You notice
the yellow house.
They're behind.
behind the State Farm.
Behind.
Okay, okay, John's, yeah,
John
John
Dorrance.
Jordan's house.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know, I know where it's at.
So yes, they could, but I don't think that's their business model.
Yeah.
Any yes, no, time
No,
for
no
input?
problem.
I see a little
I don't have
concern
a
in Nick's
problem.
eyes. So, okay, so we don't need to have any
Nope.
motions, okay.
Nope.
Open discussion, Nick,
I have nothing tonight, Mayor.
Forrest,
Nothing there.
on down the road.
Nothing.
Nothing.
I have two things. Last week was spring break and some of us were out of town, but I understand there was a big storm and my regular job is DP&L. So I just want to remind people that when there is a big storm and your power goes out, you actually still do need to call DP&L. We don't have the smart meters yet. So we don't know automatically if your power's out or not. So if your power's out and you're wondering whether or not we know, you ought to just go ahead and call. Also, when there are trees down and things like that, DPL's policy is to cut the tree down and move on to the next job because we're trying to restore the power as fast as possible. So I know people sometimes want the wood that's left behind, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes people complain, hey, you left all this wood in my front yard. So during a storm, our process is to cut the tree down and move on to the next job, and that way people can take the wood if they want it and find a way to get rid of it if they don't. The other thing is that I attended the Greene County Regional Planning meeting, which was 2 weeks ago. And they were talking about the hamvention, and so I'm glad you mentioned it, but that's gonna be a big deal. I mean, this is the very first time that hamvention has been in Greene County. They're expecting, I think you said 30,000 or 35,000. That's basically double the size of Xenia. So they're expecting that all of the hotels in Greene County are gonna be booked. All of the restaurants in Greene County are gonna be very busy. So that's good for all the businesses. But those of us that are going out, we might want to go away that weekend or rent your house out. I don't know what you want to do, but anyway, that's gonna be a big deal.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing.
And parking is gonna be a problem. They
Yeah.
they have locations where they're gonna try and park people, but because this is the very first time doing this, they know already it's probably gonna be a problem.
Yep.
That's it.
Mr. Schweller, we know what you're doing the
Nothing
next
for
week.
tonight. Tax day's fast approaching, April the 18th.
And yes, it is. Remember that. That's a good citizens information, because most people probably don't know tax day is not the 15th, it's the 18th. And what's the
Correct.
holiday? It's
Emancipation,
Proclamation Day?
just Emancipation Day. which is-
Emancipation?
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
means pay the
Yeah,
federal
so
government.
Emancipation Day is a federal holiday, so it is now,
Pay the next day.
so you get an extra day because of where it
The
falls.
due date would normally be the 17th because the 15th falls on a Saturday. Then do the Emancipation holiday in Washington DC. I think it's a very limited where it's observed.
Yeah.
So then we get another day for that, so the 18th will be
Yes.
the day this year on Tuesday.
All right, I have nothing. This is open to our residents. Please come up. You need to say your name and address. I know you've done it before, and you have 5 minutes.
Myrna Herzog, 255 Upper Hillside Drive. I have two things. Because my daughter works in Cincinnati, and she doesn't get home in time to attend meetings anymore, she wanted me to ask whether or not there's going to be a traffic study done on the corner of Franklin and Main. Because of increased traffic, new housing, and the fact that you sit there more than once, twice, maybe 3 times, waiting to make a left-hand corner if you're coming from Dots
Yeah.
down and you want to make a left and go up the hill, you have to wait because there is no turn signal on that. There is only one turn signal, and that's on the other side coming down. And sometimes
It's especially bad at probably 4
And
o'clock,
it
4
would
o'clock to
ha-
6.
right.
It's really bad.
And it would also help out the school buses at their dismissal time in the afternoons. Because if you get stuck behind the school bus,
Mhm.
you also sit there quite a while because of the traffic coming from the Spring Valley area. And I have something about the Sugar Maple Festival. I want to know why there's not designated handicap parking listed.
I don't know at all, since we're not involved with it.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at Louis back there, and I don't, we're gonna make Louis come out. 'Cause
The,
Louis,
transportation.
he's the transportation.
Yeah, the thing is, there is none designated for the Sugar Maple Festival.
You gotta come up, Louis, because
Yeah.
we can't hear you without being on the microphone,
All right.
because I don't have the answer.
Okay. I gotta put on a different hat. Okay, I'm Louis Schatzberg, I live at 4082 Ridgetop Drive. The deal with the handicap parking with the Sugar Maple Festival, there is no place for us to put them. The closest that we can come to handicap parking is over here at the elementary school. There is handicap parking over there. That's as close as we can get. It's the only, we did.
Because the
have-
road's closed, but
What's that?
because the roads are closed?
The roads are closed, there's no place to put it. The only places that we did have was in front of when it was the American Legion. There was, I believe, 4 or 6 spots that we could put in there for designated handicap parking.
Okay.
Because that's a business now, we no longer can do that because we're interrupting their business. So there is no place, I've looked at it myself.
Yeah.
Because I put the directional signs out, and I've talked to the committee members, and I've talked to several people around town, and said, where could we put handicap parking? We can't. The closest that we can come for handicap parking is over here at the school, where there's designated handicap parking spots.
The school that.
The old Sugar Creek Elementary
Creek.
School,
Oh, okay.
over here by the fire station.
Now,
Yeah.
what people can do is if they go to the schools where the trucks or the vans go back and
Right.
forth,
Yeah.
they can do
That
that.
shuttle.
Yeah.
As long as they can get into a van easily. I mean,
And that's a problem.
because I incurred an incident myself as one of the shuttle drivers. I mean, I want to get everybody downtown safely. I want to get the people down here, because I know even on a good day, there's very little parking in Bellbrook. So I put up all the directional signs to come to the Sugar Maple Festival. I put them up to go up to the intermediate school, to Bell Creek Intermediate. And then we have 2 shuttles that run down. How often do they run? I would say every 5 minutes, because we don't wait. We load them up and we go. Now, if your handicap or your disability doesn't allow you to get into the van safely, we can't transport you there.
Yeah.
So then you would have to figure out either possibly have a relative or somebody drive you down and drop you off at the park, go up and park their vehicle, and then drive down. You let them drive the van back down. That's the closest we can do. I mean, I agree with you. I mean,
Yeah.
it's something that's laid on my heart for a long time, because I want everybody to get downtown to experience Bellbrook.
Yeah.
But there's just limitations.
As far as parking for handicap.
And I think it's something to bring up with the committee, and we always look at it. I have, first time I've heard about, now, obviously, it's not a city event, but, we're involved with committees.
But there might be a lot of people that, would have, to be in a wheelchair, Where would be a drop-off place?
Yeah, that would be the option I would think about, would be
Where
a
they
drop-off
could,
place, yeah.
have the ability to pull their van in and drop their person off. Not 2 or 3 blocks away.
Mhm.
It has to be close enough to where that person, if they're in a wheelchair, they're not gonna have to go,
Yeah, and I assume
More
if they're
than
gonna be in a wheelchair, it's sort of the Sugar Maple Festival is essentially a walking venue anyway, so you're gonna have to have some mobility to come here, because that's gonna be your intent, to go get food or go look at all the, the crafts. And so I don't know if,
The only thing I can say about drop-off, is right there at the park. Is the closest drop-off point safely that you can get to.
which park?
Bellbrook Park.
Bellbrook right at
Bellbrook Park,
the
right there by
corner,
the museum.
so you can get down to there. And that's where the bus
because they
comes.
come-
Museum.
Huh?
I'm trying to think of where they're.
Yeah, just
Bellbrook Park.
to the north.
The
of
gazebo,
Museum's
the
over here.
gazebo.
Okay.
The garage is right here, where the streets are blocked off, right there by Bellbrook Park.
Yeah,
If they come down there and they're dropping somebody off, they could do that safely right there.
okay.
And that's the entrance to the actual
That's
event.
where the
Yeah.
So
event starts.
you'd actually be being dropped off at the front door, really.
Yeah.
Because there is no entrance per se, because it comes in all
Right.
different angles.
You got all the roads coming.
The other one would be, the church would be close
That's what I
too.
was gonna say.
What about the library?
Library, but that's not as close, but yeah.
I mean,
But there's sidewalks.
But there's,
I think with the library,
I mean, because if you're gonna, if you park at
I'm not for sure about the library parking of how they use their, because I know they have their book sale in there.
I think
During Sugar and Maple, but I don't know how much of the parking
I
lot they
think
use
the
it.
book sale is going to be at the Presbyterian Church.
Okay,
Okay.
I think.
okay.
well, I think at the end of the day, like the mayor indicated, it's not a city-run event. So I think
Yeah.
that maybe we could communicate with the
We'll
Sugar Maple
communicate to the
people
board.
and let them
Yeah,
know
I-
that it's been brought
Because I
up.
know last year, we couldn't find anything, but the people at the Bellhop, little, let us park
Oh, yeah,
next to their truck that they had just right across from them,
yep,
behind that White House.
yep.
Yeah. Because I have a balance problem and I walk with a cane.
Yeah,
So-
so you would need to have some serious, you
Yeah.
need to be close.
So, but, and that was it. But mainly
Okay.
was the traffic study for the,
What are, I guess at some point, I mean, we'll have to be watching it with, because of all the new development. You almost, so doing it now, I'm not sure how,
effective it would be.
well, we don't know yet.
Well,
They are doing them up there, I'm sure, because they're getting ready to widen the road.
the problem with putting a left turn signal on eastbound Franklin Street is there's no stacking area. So
Yeah.
the left turn lane is only about 2 or 3 cars deep.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
about
And,
three.
and,
Three, yeah.
and if, once those 3 cars go through, if the line is back, there may be a lot of people wanting to turn left.
So
but if
you
they
can't go straight.
they can't.
Because you're gonna,
Right.
yeah.
But if
So-
you can't get, if those 3 cars can't get through, all you're doing is stacking it up
You'll be
anyway.
You're
stacked
right,
up behind
right, it's,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think an arrow getting 3 cars through is better than.
And the road's already to
getting
the
through at all.
sidewalk.
Especially if you got a Weagles event going on or football practice. I
Football,
forgot when the people aren't coming
Weagles,
home and it's just
soccer,
wall-to-wall cars.
Business, but at the end of the day, 4:30, 5:30, I've seen it back all the way to Little Sugar Creek.
Yeah.
Seen it to the church, well, there, I have seen it to the church.
It won't be a traffic study, but I will contact the engineer and just see what it would take to, if we put an arrow in there,
Yeah.
what other ramifications would that have on the system?
Is there any way to make that stacking longer than 3 cars? I mean, is there?
They looked at that actually way back, right when I started. I know we looked at that, looked at different options, but then you start interfering with other things. The street's not very wide, and then you start interfering with other things if you go too far
Sidewalk
back. And
and stuff like
then
that.
now you get to the gas station and the bank, and then you can't, people can't turn in and out of those, and you have other
Can't,
impacts.
yeah, it'd be heck turning out of the bank to go left to the east.
But we'll look at that and see if there are any other options.
Well, thank you very much.
Hey, Mark, on the handicap, excuse me, the handicap ramps that we're getting installed, and she's talking about wheelchairs. Next year, they should be in place, which would help a lot for somebody in a wheelchair.
Particularly coming from down at because that's where those
CDBG
new handicap ramps are gonna be down in the area of the
CDBG
school.
grants, or that's,
Yeah,
yeah.
Bob, where will they?
Huh?
They'll be
Good job.
down Southeast Street, South Maple Street, down
Down.
down over there. They're gonna put several different corners are gonna have handicap ramps on all 4 sides.
Near
There'll be
the
some
old-
up by Ryder Court also.
Near the old Sugar Creek School area.
Yeah,
The only
down by-
problem with down there is that coming into town, it's uphill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, if you got an electric wheelchair
Yeah,
or scooter.
for somebody to push.
Well, I think everyone has had the opportunity to speak. Louis?
I'm Louis Schatzberg. I live at 4082 Ridgetop Drive, also part of the Sugar Maple. One of the things this year, with the beer garden going on, starting at 5 o'clock, the shuttles are stopping at 5 o'clock because we don't want to, we just want to use them for the shuttles, to shuttle people down. So I think on Saturday, they usually start about 9, so we'll run them from 9 to 5 on Saturday, and then noon, or I think it's 10 or 11 on Sunday until 6. So I'm looking forward to it. The handicap parking, I've looked at that for a couple of years now, and I've asked, what should we do? What can we do? Where should we put it? The only other option I've thought about, and I don't know if the city could help in any way, is, and it would probably make other people mad, is right there on the opposite side of the street from the park where those houses are. If they could make that handicap parking, I don't know. Or if that's considered parking for the houses that live there, I don't know that would be the only other place that I could see that we would have even available to put handicap parking, And that's part of the reason why we run the shuttles as well. I mean, if the disability that they have, if they can still walk and get into the van,
Yeah.
we can bring them down that way. But I did have an individual a couple of years ago that thought he could get into the van, but it
Good.
ended up didn't. And almost was a disaster, but luckily we recovered from it. But I mean, I want to get everybody downtown to the Sugar Maple Festival because it's great. I've done this for several years, running the vans back and forth. And the people think it's a great deal. And, you know, I think it's a good idea for the city as well because, like I say, there's very little parking on a good day.
Yeah.
Within the city, you know, and I think the city does the best what we can with the parking that we have. I mean, I know people park everywhere on that weekend, so, you know. But anyway, we're looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Does any member on council have any other business to come before us at this council meeting?
No, Mayor.
Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.